Hello everyone, welcome back to Python series. In our last video, we learned about data types in Python. Today we will discuss list data type in detail. Now let's get started with our today's session. List. List is a collection which is ordered and changeable. Here ordered means the elements of the list will not be shuffled. That means it will store the values in the order I provide to it. And changeable means that we can change the elements of the list. Second is, in Python, lists are written in square brackets. That means we write all the list elements within a square bracket. Now let's see an example of it. This is an example to create a list. Here I have written three elements, apple, banana and cherry, within the square bracket. So this list is a list data type. Now let's try this practically. Let me open Jupyter Notebook and try this example. So first of all, I want three elements, right? So let me create square brackets. In these square brackets, I will write the elements like apple, another is banana, cherry. Now these are my list elements. Now I will assign these list elements to a variable. Let me name it as this list. So my list is created. Now let's try and print this list. Here in the output, it has printed my list in the order that I provided above. This is how we can print our complete list. Now, what if I only want one element of the list? So to do the same, we do the operation called as slicing. In this, we provide the index number of the element. Now, what is an index number? In programming language, we identify the position of elements in sequences like list or array using index numbers. Now the important thing to remember here is index numbers always starts with 0. That means the first index would be 0, second index will be 1 and so on. Our counting starts with 1 but index numbers starts with 0. Here is the presentation of index number. You can see that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the elements and these index numbers starts from the 0. The first element indicates the index number as 0 and the last element will always indicate the index number as element minus 1, or we can say that size minus 1. So size of this list here is 6 and index number would be 5. Now suppose I want to print my second element, that is banana. So I will write, so let's print our banana here. I will write this list. Banana is the second element, so the index number of banana would be 1. It has printed banana here. Now let's see another scenario. Suppose I have 10 elements like L1 equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. So these are the 10 elements I am having in this list called as L1. Now I want to print all the elements from 30 to 70. So what we can do here is, so here we write print L1. The index number of 30 is 2 colon. Index number of 70 is 6. So this will print the elements from second index to sixth index. It would be 30 to 70. Let's try. So here is the output. It has printed 30, 40, 50 and 60. The last index is always exclusive. So if I want to print 70 here, I have to write the index number as 7 because the last index will be exclusive. So if I write print L1 2 colon 7, so this will print the elements of index 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Remember the 7th index will be exclusive. You can see that Now, a good thing in Python is we can also use negative indexing in list. So what is negative indexing? The negative indexing starts from -1, and the -1 represents the last index of the list. So if I print L1 -1, it will give me the last index. The last index is 100. Now, and another scenario here is, suppose I don't know how many elements I have in the list and I want to print all the elements from the fifth position. That is, I want 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100 as output. So what we can do is, I will write print L1. I want the element from the fifth position, so I will write here 5, then colon, and I don't know the last index number, so I will not specify the last index here. Let's print this. It has printed 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100 because the fifth index of the list is 60. It has printed 60 and it has printed all the elements till the last. Now let's move on and try to change the elements of the list. Let me create another list, that is L2, and the elements would be apple 20, 400, banana. Now this is my list. Now I want to change the second element, that is 20. I want 100 in place of 20. So what we can do is L2, and so the index number of second element is 1. So I will specify 1 here. L2 1 equals to what I want to give here is 100. Now let's try to print this list. See, it has changed the value from 20 to 100. Now let's change the last element, that is banana. So I will write L2 and the index number of banana is 3. So I will write 3 here equals to let's give it 500. Now print our list. It has changed the value from banana to 500. Now let's again change this 500 to banana. So I will write L2, the index number is 3 equals to, in single quotes or double quotes I will write banana. Now let's print this again. See, it has printed banana in place of 500. So this is how we can change the elements of a list. Now the another task in list we can do is we can loop through the list. Here is the presentation for it. Looping through list means to access all the elements one by one. This list contains 3 elements, that are apple, banana and cherry. I will access all these elements one by one. Let's see how we can do this. Okay, let us create a new list. L3 equals to, in square brackets I'm writing apple, banana, 200, Bharat. So L3 is created. Now let's try to loop through it. So for looping we use the for keyword. We can loop through a list using this for loop. So I will write here for x in, the name of the list is L3, colon, print x. So what it will do is it will take the list here L3, and from this list L3 it will provide me one element at a time in the variable called as x. This x is created here as a variable. So let's print this. It has printed banana, 200 and Bharat. It has printed one by one. Now the next topic we have in list is functions in list. Now the first function in list is length. Length function is used to find out the length of the list. So we use len function in Python to find out the length of the list. Now let's do the practical. Suppose this L3, I want to find this length. I will write here is len, and in round brackets I will write the name of the list. Let's print this. It has printed 4. As you can see, I have the 4 elements in the list. So it has printed 4. Now let's find out the length of L2 list. So I will write len and in round brackets I will write the name of that list L2. L2 also has 4 elements. Now let's find out the length of L1 list. And the length of L1 is 10. See here we have created the list L1 contains 10 elements here. Here these are the 10 elements of the L1 list. Now let's move to our second function, that is append. Now append function is used to add elements into a list. The append function always adds a new element at the end of the list. Now let's do the practical. So here we will write name of the list, that is let's take L3 dot, then we will write the append function, and in these round brackets we will write the element we want to add into a list. So I want to add this new element. Now let's print the list. See, it has added the new element in the list at the last of list. Now the another function here we have is remove. The remove function is used to remove the specified item from a list. So how we can write this remove function is, first we have to specify the name of the list, that is L3 dot remove. Remove is the name of the function, and in these round brackets I will write name of that element. I want to remove here is 200. I will write 200 here. Now let's try to print this list. Now the last function we have is pop. Pop. Pop is used to remove the last element of the list. If I write L3.pop, it will remove the last element, which is this new element in my list. Now I will print this L3. It has printed only 2 elements. Now let's see what we have in L1 list. So here my L1 list contains 10 elements and the last element is 100. If I want to remove this 100, I can use L1.pop. This will remove 100 from my list. And L1, see, it has removed 100 from my list. Now again if I do L1.pop, it will again remove the last element, which is 90. You can see the list elements. So these are the basic functions that we have in Python for the list data type. This is all for today. Thank you for being with me. See you in next session. Till then, bye bye, good night.